Hey everybody, Mike here. I just want to take a second to talk to you about our Patreon we have set up at www.patreon.com/weirdshitpodcast. Basically, Patreon is a way where fans and listeners like yourselves can choose an amount every month to donate towards the show. Your donations will be put towards buying new equipment. It'll be put towards buying munchies because fucking Palmer is insatiable. It'll be put towards helping us pay our dues for hosting the show and for keeping the websites going. And honestly, the main thing it'll help us do is let me take more time to do more research on these topics. I have a full-time job. I work 60 hours a week, and then I spend 40 hours doing research for you guys because I love this show and I want to give you the best thing I possibly can. So if you have anything you want to give us, if you think we deserve anything for that work, feel free to go to Patreon and donate whatever you can. If not, man, it's cool. Like, I love every single one of you, and I'm so glad you're listening. Just share the show with whoever you think would be interested, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks.
Hey everybody, this is Steven.
And this is Chris.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Is This Adulting?
Every week, we're going to sit down to have a discussion about life, culture, our own mental health struggles, and just about anything you can think of.
Have you ever wondered which breakfast cereal's the best?
Or how to help your friends who are dealing with mental illness?
Or why waterbeds were a thing?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, then have we got a show for you.
And remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know. They might just be starting a podcast.
Hey guys, it's Lainey, host of the True Crime Fan Club podcast. If you're a true crime addict like I am, then my podcast is for you. It's a podcast for the ultimate true crime enthusiast, giving you a glimpse into the life and crimes of the most demented minds. You won't want to miss an episode.
Do you ever wonder how folk art museums in Utah are connected to erotic Renaissance literature? Did you know a turkey puppet ran for the presidency of Ireland? Do you get in trouble at work for clicking through article after article out of pure boredom? Well, hide in your headphones and let us tumble down the digital rabbit hole for you.
We are the Wiki Ship Down podcast. We live in an age where the sum total of humanity's knowledge is in your pocket on a smartphone at any given time. But when that knowledge is peer editable, what does that say about mankind? I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ruth Ann.
And join us as we hit the random button and dive into the depths of Wikipedia.
First reaction was she's been mutilated.
A gruesome discovery for rancher Mike Duran.
Saw something unusual.
His cow found dead along the Purgatory River. Her udders and reproductive organs missing.
No tracks at all. No blood, no predators.
Duran last saw the cow alive on Friday. 2 days later, he says he found her like this. And listen to what he thinks happened.
We have other life out there, and I think that's what it is.
He thinks aliens abducted the cow, carved it up, and dropped it back by the river. He doesn't have proof, but claims to have seen some strange sights in these Colorado skies.
Like a round circle in the air, and I've watched them, and then they've just disappeared.
And this unusual story has another twist. Duran has about 40 cattle here on this ranch west of Trinidad. And believe it or not, he says this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Another cow was mutilated on this same field, he says, in 1995.
It's just a shock that it's happened again.
Duran reported both cattle mutilations to the sheriff's office, but so far they haven't been able to solve either case.
It's one of those unsolved mysteries, I guess.
Pizza bagels, though. Pizza bagels? That actually sounds better than bagel bites. Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I honestly used to like bagel bites.
I keep saying
best.
pizza bagels. Damn it! It's bagel bites. Son of a bitch.
I really liked bagel bites better than pizza rolls. when I was
big
growing
ass
up.
fucking Brewster's bagels with fucking like a deep dish pizza on top of it. That's what I'm imagining.
I'm just imagining a whole pizza that's made like a
On top of a
fucking
giant-ass bagel.
like they make it like a normal bagel, except they just add cheese and pepperoni to the top.
Just some cream cheese on it.
And it's just the size of a pizza.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the size of a New York pizza.
And then you just deep fry it.
Is this a thing that can be ordered for delivery?
Where can I pick this up?
I would like that right now.
I would
God
like
damn.
3 of them.
I think I just came up with a new food idea.
Papa John.
No,
We're
no.
asking you, Papa.
Nah, not Papa John's. Bruegger's Bagels.
Welcome to Weird Shit Podcast. This is Mike.
What up? This is Ryan.
Hey guys, I'm Alex.
And today we're going to be talking about cattle mutilation.
I'm out.
Cat mutilation?
Cattle
Who the fuck?
mutilation.
Oh, okay. Fucking cows.
And to answer your unasked question, it's the Chinese.
Ah, I figured as much.
Cattle, like what?
Cattle mutilation.
What do you mean though?
So, like, have you ever heard of cattle mutilation before?
To eat?
This is like a mysterious phenomenon that's been going on for a while. Basically, a farmer goes to sleep. Like while he's sleeping, he hears, and he goes outside. There's a dead ass cow. Has its anus removed, usually genitals removed, and like bits of skin, and it's drained of all of its blood. And usually there's like burn marks around where these things have been removed.
Aliens.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
it's like some aliens just show up, like steal its anus, and then do a burnout to get out of there.
It's like the Chinese equivalent to aliens, where they're like hunting rhinos for their horns, except
Cow
they're
anus.
hunting cows for their anus and
Cow anus.
blood.
Cow anus is like an aphrodisiac to the Greys.
It's
Get out of here, space
no, it's
gear.
what
We
they
got
make
the
their
anus.
it's what they make their condoms out of.
Holy shit! That's better than any theory that I have about it. So.
All right, that was a good episode, guys.
Yeah, that was. I think we could shut it down. I think we just solved it. So basically, cattle mutilation, also known as bovine excision and unexplained livestock death, is the killing and mutilation of cattle under unusual, usually bloodless, and anomalous circumstances.
What was that one? Unexplained cow death circumstances?
Bovine excision and unexplained livestock death.
Unexplained livestock death. That's catchy. I like that. It's
Yeah.
very catchy.
Bovine excision
Very
sounds
witty.
like a really good metal band name.
Holy shit, yes! Oh, bovine excision would be like, I'd imagine there would be like some type of death. Probably,
It's like Guar, except they all dress up as cattle.
they all have the dick udders. They just all have the dick udders.
They're all
on.
missing their anus.
Yeah. They like,
Their costume just has detachable anus they can throw at the crowd.
they spray cow blood all over everybody at every show.
Oh, their dick
And
udders
milk.
just have cow's blood in it. There we go.
Oh, that would be incredible.
That dude just throw his anus?
So, basically, there's all kinds of animals that have been like found with these weird mutilations. It's like sheep, horses, goats, pigs, rabbits, cats, dogs, bison, deer, and elk. But mostly it's cows is like the main one here in the States. And usually they've had like bloodless excisions, which means that like they've had stuff taken from them, but there's no blood anywhere. So like it'll be like an ear or an eyeball or like part of the jaw, like the jaw flesh, tongue, lymph nodes, genitals, and rectum.
Now, when it's a chupacabra, it's always very bloody, isn't it?
See, that is one of the things, though. One of the theories that some people have is that it's chupacabra.
Could it be like a chupacabra with a lightsaber?
He's like cutting them open
Just
to
cauterizing
crawl
that
inside
shit.
to stay warm at night. Just pulls out organs and shit while he's in there.
Just pops out the anus for ventilation.
It's like that scene in Ace Ventura, just like pushing
It's
his
a
face out
chupacabra.
the cow anus. Just like Oh,
And he's just like,
those cows are hot.
Just dinking the tiny little fan.
He's like, poor chupacabra. Like, there's all kinds of different theories for like what's behind it. Basically, people are like, oh, it's just natural predation.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, it's like a coyote showing up with a laser sword to like carve off pieces of the cow. There's also like
Nothing personnel,
cults.
cow.
They say that like satanic cults could do it, which is just like
What kind of technology does Satanist cults have?
apparently they have laser tech because that's what they use it
I'm
to.
trying to just imagine like a coyote surgically removing an anus from a cow before they eat it. Like they're sitting there with like a knife and fork, just like
It's just
A fucking molecular blade.
it's got one of those like the ones you got to plug in. That's like an electric saw blade. Just,
the problem though is that it's Acme, so it just ends up backfiring on him, cutting off his own arm by accident. And he has to run away. People also think that like aliens could do it, or the government, because government.
The lizard people.
Huh?
The lizard people have done it.
Lizard people could do it.
Mm-hmm.
well, that's what they eat.
It's true.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
They eat exclusively cow anus.
Could it be Alex Jones just like running around shirtless?
I like that theory.
It's just like he goes up to the cow and he's just like and just like removes the anus in one swift motion with his hand.
Yeah, I mean, he is Super Saiyan, so he has that capability.
I don't want to brag, but I can punch straight into a cow's chest cavity.
I've read over 200 naval books.
I know.
I've read over 200 anatomy of the cow books.
I know 280 different types of martial arts, both human and non-human.
Not bragging.
Not
bragging, no.
The earliest known documented outbreak of unexplained livestock deaths occurred in early of 1606, and quote, about the city of London and some of the shires adjoining, whose slaughters of sheep have been made in some places to number 100, in others less, where nothing is taken from the sheep but their tallow and some inward parts, the whole carcasses and fleece remaining still behind. Of this sundry conjectures, but most agreed that it tendeth towards some fireworks, which basically means that, like,
The Scottish did it.
yeah,
I'm thinking
it's the Welsh.
Yes, it's
fucking
jealous Welsh people.
Oh my god, you're totally right. It's the fucking Welshman.
They're like, watch this, guys. They're gonna blame it on the Scottish. Let's take let's take the parts of the sheep that we used to make haggis.
It's just like Welshmen sneaking into farms at night with like vacuum cleaners and just sucking out organs from all
And
the
fucking like
Through the
lightsabers.
anus.
yeah.
It's just a legion of Welsh Jedi just roving the English countryside.
Show me the documents.
Speaking that weird Welsh language.
Yeah,
And then the sheep dies.
the sheep dies.
The sheep's just like, you fucking what?
The sheep pulls out a knife.
I just imagine like
Oh shit!
what was that movie? Kung Fu Hustle? Was that
Yeah,
it?
Kung Fu Hustle.
Where like the cow stands up and starts like fighting him. It's just that,
Ain't
but a
going down without
Welshman,
a fight.
just a Welshman and a sheep.
Just like in my dreams.
Just like the old gypsy woman said. Yeah, basically, they were finding all these sheep that have been all fucked up in their fields. They were just missing like organs and stuff. but they weren't like. It was obviously strange, so it wasn't like natural predation because they were like, "Hey, this thing is perfectly intact except it's missing organs and blood." So,
Just whack.
and then the phenomena remained largely unknown outside cattle raising communities until 1967, when the Pueblo chieftain in Pueblo, Colorado, published a story about a horse named Lady near Alamosa, Colorado, that was mysteriously killed and mutilated. The story was republished by the wider press and distributed nationwide. This case was the first to feature speculation that extraterrestrial beings and unidentified flying objects were associated with mutilation. Sounds like he's having a cat attack over there somewhere.
I ain't getting mutilated.
What a lazy name for a horse. I'm gonna name you Lady.
Lady!
Yeah. Basically on September 9th, 1967, Agnes King and her son, Harry,
Potter.
found the dead body of their owl.
You're a cow anus remover, Harry.
You what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what?
And her son Harry found the dead body of their 3-year-old horse, Lady. Lady's head and neck had been skinned and defleshed. Fuck.
No.
And the body displayed cuts that, to King, looked very precise.
Lady, no.
There was no blood.
Can't believe you've done this.
And there was, like, a strong smell of, like, medicine or something in the air.
What?
Yeah, like...
Interesting.
So, like, you ever sniff NyQuil?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't do drugs.
So if you ever take the time to like smell a bottle of NyQuil, that's what I would assume a medicine-y smell would be.
Well, this was in
Something
1967,
like that,
so like, wouldn't medicine back then be meth? Or heroin?
Or cocaine.
Something?
Cocaine!
It smelled like cocaine!
Subsequent investigation concluded there were, quote, no unearthly causes of the death. Early press coverage of the
Shit
case
was just fucked up in a regular way.
misnamed Lady as Snippy. Snippy was Lady's sire and belonged to Nellie's husband, Earl Lewis.
I got a bad feeling about Snippy.
I'm gonna get my,
Oh, it's a trap! Crap. So, just, don't burn yourself. Don't want this to end up like a human mutilation.
Yeah, you got some tots? Oh, shit. Pizza rolls.
Yeah, that's why I started talking about it.
No.
So, Democratic Senator Floyd K. Haskell contacted the FBI asking them for help in 1975 because he was getting messages from people like, yo, like, what's with all these, like, dead cows?
Getting messages from concerned cows.
Yeah, concerned from cow lobbyists. Hello, is this Senator Haskell?
Like the cow from Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Eat
They
more
just
chicken.
have a bunch of misspelled signs that say like "Cow Lives Matter," like out in front of his office.
Lives Matter.
He claimed there had been 130 mutilations in Colorado alone, and further reports across 9 different states.
A bowl of pizza rolls.
A 1979 FBI report indicated that, according to investigations, yeah, you probably don't want to put those straight in your mouth yet. According to that wasn't a challenge.
Alex, no.
Oh my god.
According to investigations by the New Mexico State Police, there have been an estimated 8,000 mutilations in Colorado.
What the hell?
Causing approximately $1 million in damage. That is a lot of fucked up cows.
Wait, you tell me if I manage to get 8,000 cows, it's worth $1 million?
Apparently.
Let's do the math on this.
At least it was in 1979.
How long does it take for a cow to have a child?
If Alex Jones spends like 8 hours a day, how much distance can he cover?
No, I'm not bragging, but I can run 16 miles in 5 minutes.
While killing cows constantly.
While killing cows the entire time.
And consuming them.
In fact, it doesn't even slow me at all to kill a man with my fists, much less a cow.
Just goes right through him.
In 1993, there was finally some photographic evidence of a 1988 mutilation that surfaced that involved a human being near Guarapiranga, Brazil.
Wow.
Guarapiranga, Brazil.
dope name.
Basically, the autopsy report concluded the procedure occurred while the victim was still alive, and the associated pain resulted in cardiac arrest. The victim's identity was kept private, and an independent investigation later concluded that he died from natural causes.
What?
I mean, naturally, if someone is cutting off your fucking flesh with a laser, you're going to die.
That is
so
not a
that's
natural
technically
cause.
a natural cause. It's a natural cause.
He bled to
like
death.
it's like naturally, if someone shanks you in the kidneys, you're going to bleed to death. That's just a natural cause.
Hashtag.
I actually have more about this this human mutilation case here. Basically, incarnation. You were just fucking yourself up.
He opened the pizza roll so he could blow directly on the inner core to cool it faster.
That's what they're doing with these cows.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
just opening it up so
Gotta
they
cool
can
'em
blow on them to cool them down.
They're taking out,
Gotta get
taking
that
out
anus
the
out of
intestines
there.
and everything, and then just in the anus, and then they're just putting their hands over the anus and going and blowing the air through their
Just
mouth.
popping a cone in there. Like a funnel.
Filling it with cheese and like pepperoni cubes. That's what they didn't report.
Stuffing.
That's what they didn't put in the reports, is that they were filled with cheese and pepperoni. They had no blood left, but there was lots of cheese and pepperoni in there. Encarnacion Garcia learned from her friend Dr. Ruben Goez that he was in possession of some rather, quote, odd photos which had been given to him by his cousin, police technician Ruben Sergio. Basically, they were photos of a body that had been found near Guaraparanga Reserve in 1988 on September 29th, and it was an unnamed male who they managed to identify, but they withheld his name. Basically, the dude had like part of his jaw, like the flesh on his jaw removed. He had some, like, his eyes were removed. He had burn marks and scorch marks over his face. He had these bore marks in his like under his arm where it had been cut out, like with burns. Yeah. He had his genitals and anus removed, just like the cows.
Why is Alex Jones going after all these anuses?
I mean, he like doesn't want them putting chemicals in the water that turn the frogs gay. So he's like, anus. If you get rid of the anus, the frogs won't be turned on by the anus, so they'll no longer be gay. Problem solved.
Boom.
That's what I mean. His logic is
sound.
So yeah, basically that Brazilian guy
got fucked
up, and then
it's
dumped,
like a bad knife fight.
Like, yeah, got fucked up and then dumped in like
he walked into the wrong favela.
Park. Yeah. In the wrong barrio. He's like, gets grabbed by a fucking, like, he was probably grabbed by coyotes. That was probably natural predation too.
Natural causes right there.
Like, I mean, those were clear laser burns under his arm, which coyotes are notorious for carrying.
They just have like
lasers.
fucking lightsabers like caught in their mouth, like blades sticking out the side.
It's like that wolf from Dark Souls,
Yeah.
just like spinning and killing cows. In May of 2001, 200 goats were mutilated in the Pengang district of Gunung Kidul Regency in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Our Indonesian listeners, I am very sorry. I have no idea how to pronounce any of those fucking words.
Yogyakarta.
See, this, like,
Nailed it.
you have enough trouble reading, like, this is probably in your natural language. You can probably understand this better than me. So, physical characteristics of these. In most cases, mutilation wounds appear to be clean and carried out surgically. Mutilated animals are usually, though not always, reported to have been drained of blood and have no sign of blood in the immediate area or around their wounds.
What if it's like a vampire that used to be a doctor?
Holy
and he's just
shit!
like, he's just out there draining their blood surgically and getting rid of like the anus and like the intestines because it's like toxic.
So what if Jack the Ripper was a vampire? So he had like medical experience and he was also a vampire, and when they started catching on to him, he just came here and started killing cows.
Exactly.
That's what happened.
Yep.
Private case closed. Just shoving straws in like cows' necks.
Because they said like surgical, and I'm just like, it's just a vampire doctor.
Vampire doctor. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That would solve all of this.
Yeah, he's just like getting mass amounts of blood, taking it back to his vampire den to feed the rest of his group.
He's had 400 years of experience of learning how to perfectly extract the blood and get every last drop, and then just leave the corpse there for the Scottish to find it.
Exactly.
Or the
He's just got like a fucking laser katana, just like 3 slices, boom.
Like, there's also pretty much never any tracks or footprints around the sites of mutilated carcasses.
Because he's flying.
He's hovering, yeah.
Because they just fucking drop them. If it's aliens, they drop him from the sky. If it's a vampire, he can turn into a bat. He can just land on top of that cow and then start going to town.
Exactly.
Let me see. Absolute absence of tracks, blah, 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 blah. Within a 100-foot radius of the Snippy case, several small holes were found, seemingly punched into the ground, and 2 bushes were absolutely flattened. It's Alex Jones again. He's punching holes in the ground. In Rio Arriba County, New Mexico, June 1976, a, quote, trail of suction cup-like impressions was found leading from a mutilated 3-year-old cow.
No, I got this. It's his fat from his cankles. When he runs, it like creates a suction on the ground from how fast he's moving, but the fat is like...
It's also how he climbs walls.
Yeah. It's like as if he was the Flash going really fast. That's how he manages to climb up walls instead of having to defy gravity.
The indentations were in a tripod form, 4 inches in diameter, 28 inches apart, and disappeared 500 feet from the dead cow. They've also run like lab reports, and sometimes they find like weird background radiation or like weird minerals and stuff like that there that...
When you go Super Saiyan, is there like background radiation from the transformation?
I mean, I would assume so. You're putting out a lot of energy.
So he runs 500 feet as he's going Super Saiyan, and then like blasts off.
Yeah, and then like
that's where the burn marks are.
Rocket punches through the cow's anus. That's why it like it's
kicks
scorched.
It up in the air.
That's why it's like scorched. He's like,
shit.
It's like that flaming dragon punch that like Super Saiyan 3 Goku could do.
Exactly. Just kicking up these poor cows in the air and like Kamehameha them.
I shouldn't have worn my DBZ shirt today because this is all I'm going to be talking about.
It's going to be a DBZ episode.
This is going to be a DBZ heavy episode.
Does that mean like Alex Jones was like one of the people in Dragon Ball Z?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if he was Krillin?
He was Krillin.
He was definitely Krillin.
If he was anyone, he was Krillin.
He could also be Ox King. Or Hercule. Hercule, he would definitely be Hercule, I think.
Because he doesn't actually have powers?
Yeah, he just pretends he does. He just likes to talk a lot.
I am the best.
I just saved the Earth again. Both the liver and the heart were white and mushy. Both organs had the texture and consistency of peanut butter. This was in that Snippy case.
Just like putting it on a sandwich.
Yeah, he's just making him some peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It looks like the wounds were made with what appeared to be a quote sharp and precise instrument, and the internal organs were found to be inconsistent with the normal case of death followed by predation. The animal's heart, as well as bone and muscle samples, were sent to Los Alamos Scientific Laboratory for microscopic and bacteriological studies, while samples from the animal's liver were sent to 2 separate private laboratories. The Los Alamos lab detected the presence of naturally occurring Clostridium bacteria in the heart.
Oh, shit.
But was unable to reach any conclusions because of the possibility that the bacteria represented post-mortem contamination.
Obviously.
It also, the animal's liver had 4 times the normal level of zinc, potassium, and phosphorus, and was completely devoid of copper, which is kind of weird. Blood samples were light pink in color and did not clot after several days.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's kind of...
This is just still, like, leading straight to Vampire Doctor. Because, like, he injects him with something to prevent the blood from clotting so it lasts longer.
I mean, it makes sense that in the saliva of a vampire, just like in the saliva of something like some ticks or mosquitoes have, like a secretion that makes it so your blood won't clot. It makes sense that a vampire would have that too if he drinks blood. But we're going to talk about vampires next week probably because the Strain comes out next week. So I was like, we should do vampires next week.
The what comes out?
Dope. The Strain. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's dope.
It's dope.
It's pretty fucking dope.
One thing I want to learn in that episode is like the difference between vampires that turn into like one bat and vampires that can turn into like a bunch of bats. So are they like cloning themselves, or we're gonna have to go into that? I want to know what's going on there.
Yeah, I think it's probably a hierarchy thing. So it's like they basically have like they prestiged, so they can they can split into multiple bats.
I want to know how
what
they.
it is.
I just want to know how they got Count Chocula to be on a kids show.
Exactly.
Vampire,
like offering people, or?
Vampire-friendly propaganda. They're selling vampires, and those vampires are selling sex to our kids.
It's bullshit.
Have to shut it down.
My name is Linda Moulton Howe. I am reporter and editor of EarthFiles.com, a science and environment and Real X Files news website. I report monthly science, environment, medical news, and Real X Files for Coast to Coast AM on Premier Radio Networks. I have been a professional investigative journalist and TV producer since I graduated from Stanford University in 1968 with a master's degree in communication. I have worked in television, in radio, the web, written books, and the focus of all of my work related to the Real X Files area has been my exposure to animal mutilations as a global phenomena, and having law enforcement, sheriffs and deputies tell me back in 1979, off the record then, that the perpetrators were creatures from outer space. And as stunning as that was to me in 1979, I know that the investigative report that I did called A Strange Harvest about the global animal mutilation phenomena was known to so many people because after my broadcast, a special 90 minutes on the CBS station in Denver, Colorado, where I was director of special projects, I began receiving mail. There was no computer. There were no emails then. It was hard letters and hard phone calls. I began receiving so much mail from around the world that the TV station had to bring it to me in bags, and the telephone calls overwhelmed the switchboard. That is only an indication that in 1979, when I first did the investigation on animal mutilations, there was this entire global knowledge of people who were ranchers, law enforcement, police, and pilots who knew that what I reported in A Strange Harvest was the truth. They knew it in the areas that they lived. And I realized then that I had just scratched the surface of a huge iceberg, that the planet is aware, even if it's in local towns and local ranches and the pilots that fly airplanes, that we are dealing with a phenomena that is non-human, and that our government's own documents describe it as extraterrestrial biological entities, and they use in their own documents the acronym EBA, extraterrestrial biological entities. Those are facts.
So one thing I heard you testify to was that in some of the reports about things that were recovered in the crashes, they were finding non-biological entities. They were almost androids or robots that...
In my work, I think one of the most interesting revelations that came to me was, for the first time actually, only about the early 1990s, I began to hear through leaks that in some of the early autopsies, They weren't even cutting into what we would consider to be tissue. It was some sort of a fabric that was either covering tissue, but it was a fabric, and it was very difficult for the scalpels to go through. That led eventually in the early 2000s of the 21st century that I finally was able to do an interview with someone with firsthand knowledge about one of the autopsies at Wright-Patterson, who said he was in the room when they started the cut into the non-human body, one that was retrieved from the Roswell area in 1947, and that the statement was made in the room. This is not tissue as we know it, and that firsthand testimony opened up what I have come now to understand, that a big part of this phenomena are what we would call drones today, either non-piloted craft that are under the control of a prime intelligence, or craft that are containing extraterrestrial biological entities that are not strictly biological, may be in the category of androids under the control of a prime intelligence. And the irony is that we humans have been waking up to other life in the universe through cloned biological entities made by something else.
So the government ended up looking into these reports because there were so many. They ended up having like an FBI investigation and stuff, which I'll include a link on the website to the documents that were released about that. But basically, the released material includes correspondence from Rommel, who's one of the guy who was in charge, where he states that, quote, most credible sources have attributed this damage to natural predator and scavenger activity. But he also said that he couldn't explain all of them. Like, there were still a bunch that couldn't be explained by...
Like 99% were explainable, but there was one that was just so fucked up.
Yeah.
It was folded neatly in half.
Yeah. Like, there are some people who think that cults do it. Like, cults were doing it because of, like, the satanic panic of, like, back then, where they're like, oh, Satanists are running daycare centers and raping your kids and things like that. Is like what was going on in the 90s.
Is the Illuminati doing this?
Alright, everybody, welcome to the stage, Satanic Panic!
I bet you there's actually a band called Satanic Panic. So, yeah, basically the FBI is like, nah, dog, we don't know what's doing this. But it's probably just coyotes, though. So, yeah. What do you guys think about cattle mutilation?
I think it's Vampire Doctors.
Vampire Doctor.
Vampire Doctor?
Vampire Doctor.
Well, here's my thing, right? When I was digging into it, I'm always of the mind that it's aliens whenever it's anything, because I like to think that aliens are responsible for shit because aliens are dope. But
can't explain that.
But as I looked into it more, right, like I noticed a kind of a pattern, which is that most of the cattle mutilations occur in places where we have a high military presence. So it's like the U.S., the U.K., Australia, Brazil, places like that. But it's there's some... I could see the government having the technology to like make laser incisions and things like that, because I think that probably most likely the government only shows us shit that's like 50 years behind whatever they have. Like, I think they wouldn't make stuff public unless it's like obsolete at this point. You know what I mean? I think they'd hold on to the best stuff for themselves. But one thing like that I was thinking about is prions, which are a like protein-based type of infection. Basically can cause like diseases and viruses and stuff, but they're most commonly found in livestock and people, which are the two most common things.
What are some examples?
So some examples of this are like bovine spongiform encephalopathy, which is mad cow disease, and also Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
It's a funny name for a terrible disease.
Yeah. There's also Gertzmann-Straussler-Schinker syndrome.
Also a funny name for a terrible disease.
Fatal familial insomnia and Kuru. And basically, all known prion diseases in mammals affect the structure of the brain or other neural tissue. And there's no treatment for it. It just like starts changing the way your body works. If you get prions, they start rewriting your genetic code, basically, which is kind of fucking scary. But like when I was thinking about it, I was like, it could be like a government thing where they're like just trying to weaponize like Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease or something, where they're like, hey, let's fucking like grab some cows, like some cow tissue, see how it spreads through that, and see if we can figure out a way to get it to spread to people.
Yeah, but do those like remove the anus?
Well, it's like, since it's protein based, I'd assume it gets in through your digestive tract somehow. But I don't know. Like I don't know enough about it to like make any kind of legitimate claim on it. Like I literally just stumbled down this rabbit hole when I started thinking about it about an hour before we started recording. So
is Yakov Smirnoff behind all this?
Yeah.
Is Yakov Smirnoff a vampire?
Yeah. It's Soviet Russia.
Anus removes you.
How mad at you?
It's like a disease spread from vampires.
Yeah. That could be it, dude. Vampirism could be a prionic disease because it would have to rewrite your genetics if you got bit by a vampire. We're talking about vampires on this episode, and we're supposed to be doing it next episode, but
I didn't know that.
You gotta hook people for the next episode.
Yeah, that's true. We could I could always just go more into prions in the next one too after doing more research on it. But yeah, like I think it's possible that like the government could be behind the cattle mutilations and stuff, and like human mutilations too.
The government could definitely be behind this.
It's always one of three things:
aliens,
government, aliens.
Yakov Smirnoff.
Yakov
Smirnoff. Or vampire doctors. I'm honestly pretty partial to the vampire doctor.
Could Yakov Smirnoff be a vampire doctor?
My gosh. Or Andy Kaufman, which is why he faked his own death. Because
it could also
is he Alex Jones?
Yeah, it could also be Alex
Jones.
My
God. They said that there's a legit theory that Alex Jones is God damn it, what's his name?
A vampire.
The guy that the like stand-up comedian that Tool loved so much.
Dan Cook.
Nobody loves Dan Cook. It's God damn it.
Amy Schumer.
I'm never gonna think of it now. But it's he's hilarious. God, I wish I could fucking.
Does he have a joke?
Yeah. he has a lot of jokes. Mostly he talks about like drugs and anti-government stuff.
Is he dead?
Hey, you know what? I'm going to just fucking Google it because
that's what I was about to do. Tool comedian. Favorite.
It's going to be Dan Cook because I typed the words Tool comedian into Google, so nice. It's going to be Dan Cook.
Favorite Cook.
It's going to be Bill and Ball.
It's gonna pop up as Yakov Smirnoff, and we're just the episode's just gonna end.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Wait, Yakov Smirnoff.
God.
You just cut it off. Bill Hicks.
Awesome.
That's it, Bill Hicks.
Nailed it.
Yeah. People, there's actually a legit conspiracy theory that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks.
Let's do an episode on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to, because Alex Jones
the more
is hilarious
the more
to
episodes
me,
we
so.
do on Alex Jones, the better.
I
That guy's
know.
my hero.
That man is a goddamn
You will
national
not take
treasure.
my guns, Obama!
You
Wait, but-
devil!
But Bill Hicks is dead. So you're saying Bill Hicks turned into Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I'm a human. This is what we look like. This is what we act like.
What if like a lizard person took the skin of Bill Hicks when he died, and that is who Alex Jones is?
Mother of God. That's why he's so insistent that he's a human. Because he's not.
Exactly.
He's trying to throw
He's a
you off.
goddamn fat lizard.
he's like, I got hot blood running through me fast. He specified that it was hot because he doesn't want you to know it's cold blood because he's a motherfucking lizard.
And he's always eating chili because it's got all sorts of cow blood,
Oh my
cow
gosh.
intestines all up in the chili.
And it's how he keeps himself warm. Because he's cold-blooded. So he
Exactly.
has to constantly eat chili to stay warm.
That's why when he's on the show, all those lights are just heat lamps. They're not actually lights.
Holy shit! when it cuts to like a message from his sponsor, he like lays on a rock, just sprawls out on a rock. Like,
Can prions cause memory loss? They can, right?
Yeah.
Is that why he forgot his kid's birthday?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Holy shit! You're probably right. I mean, he said it was from the chili, so maybe there were prions in the chili.
So Alex Jones,
I think we're cracking this open.
who is really Bill Hicks as a lizard man, has been mutilating cows.
Bill Hicks was murdered by the
make
lizard
chili,
man that is now Alex Jones wearing his skin.
Which then also made him forget his son's birthday.
Boom.
And that's how you get cattle mutilations.
Yeah.
We just solved this whole thing.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. He's been mutilating the cows to make the chili.
Should we drop the mic? This is where we drop the mic, right?
Drop.
Don't drop that mic! It's really expensive. That is an expensive mic.
It's a phone.
Oh, that's my phone.
Oh, well, don't drop that either.
It was a phone.
It was.
It used to be
Hello?
a phone. Hello?
It's just Alex Jones. Hello?
You will not hang up this phone, Obama!
I know who you are. And the warriors of the revolution are coming for you. And your Jew masters. I mean, globalist masters. Globalist masters, not Jew masters. I didn't say that.
Are you?
I'm Brett.
Sometimes I feel a little.
Very Alex Jonesy.
So yeah, basically,
Just thought of another one. Like, sometimes I feel a little human. Just like.
yeah. So it's probably Alex Jones behind all this, probably, right? I mean, did we decide that?
100%.
Allegedly,
200%.
it is allegedly Alex Jones.
I'm
behind these
50-50.
cattle mutilations.
I'm willing to testify that this is in fact 100% Alex Jones.
I'm
What?
50-50 Alex Jones or like Vampire Doctor.
I
unless
don't
he
think they're
is
mutually exclusive.
a
Yeah.
vampire
Yeah,
doctor.
I think
was
they are
gonna
one and the
say,
same.
What if he is a lizard vampire doctor?
Exactly. He's just. When does this show come on? Night or day?
It's on all the time. He doesn't sleep.
Shit. Okay, so has Alex Jones and a vampire doctor ever been in the same room?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think he's ever had Yakov Smirnoff on his show. if he did, I would probably have known about it. I would think.
It's got to be him and Yakov Smirnoff in cahoots.
And the reason Jesse Ventura is so mad all the time is because he's a vampire hunter and he knows that Alex Jones is up to no good. He can sense it.
Yep. I mean, everybody knows.
Everybody can tell. So yeah, that's pretty much it for cattle mutilation. What do you think about it, Ryan?
How does a vampire turn into like a cloud of bats?
They prestige. It's a perk. Like you got to take the right perks.
I think they just have to be bitten by a certain type of vampire bat.
Is that like a vampire who he gets turned into a vampire by being bitten by a bunch of vampires? Is that how he can turn into a bunch of bats?
It's like a swarm of vampires just all start biting him at once.
He just bursts into a cloud of bats.
And then they're like, it has worked. We always knew we could turn into multiple bats. Quick, bite me on the neck. I want to be you.
Quick, everybody suck on this.
It's like the original vampire bit someone, and then like they both bit someone.
Well, we're gonna have to make a complicated graph to figure out mathematically how this would happen.
It's like a vampire family tree, and it all starts with just one vampire from like the 1200s.
I personally think Chupacabra is getting a bad rap for these mutilations. People are like, nah, it's Chupacabra. Chupacabra don't have lasers.
Yeah, chupacabras don't have weapons that precise.
Yeah.
They just have little fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk single file to hide their numbers.
Exactly.
So yeah, my personal theory, it's government.
I mean, I think it's a vampire.
I think it's that convoluted theory that we went through earlier.
I have lost track of all the convoluted theories that we've been through, but I think they were all...
Somewhere in there was the truth.
Somewhere in there was the truth.
I'll leave it to the listeners.
If you email us at weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com and guess the right truth, I will send you a gold star sticker. Otherwise, no. You don't get a sticker.
No.
Alright, for the next episode, we can just do like a choose your own adventure where, like, whichever truth they pick in this one. We'll just operate assuming that in the future episodes.
Skip ahead to 15 minutes if you choose this option.
We should do like a Mad Libs of like all like just random shit from our episodes, like all the different theories.
What I really want is people to send us their paranormal stories, because I want to go over that shit so bad. Like, I want to talk to people about, like, the stuff they've had. Like, there was somebody in group who was saying that they, like, had a, like, they lived in, like, a haunted house and, like, heard, like, weird sounds and stuff like that. And I'm like, tell me! I want to know! Tell me everything about it. I want to know
the whole story.
Like,
I
please.
lived in a haunted house.
Like, was it knocking in threes? Because if it's knocking in threes, that's demonic. You need to move the fuck out.
Or was it 20,
burn that house.
Was it
23?
if
If it's knocking in 23s, it's just Jim Carrey.
and you're in mortal danger.
You're in mortal danger, and you should call the police immediately.
What if like it was
going to give you autism?
It was knocking in threes. It's just fucking phantom fidget spinners. Oh yeah, that is relaxing.
So you guys, you got any shout outs this week, Ryan?
This week I would like to give a shout out to the show The Last Kingdom, because it's amazing and everyone should watch it. And I hope they keep making that show forever.
That's dope.
I don't know.
That's dope.
Next,
Palmer, you got a shout out this week?
I don't know. What? I don't know how this works.
So pick something. Pizza rolls. Shout out to pizza rolls.
Okay, yeah. I'll shout out to Steven and some pizza bagels.
That's our next band name is Steven and the Pizza Bagels.
Steven and the Pizza
Steven
Bagels.
with a PH.
My shout out is to CJ and Max and Chris, who are donating to our Patreon. You guys are fucking dope.
What?
I can now actually pay for my hosting, which is nice. And
thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much for believing in the show.
You rock.
You fucking kick ass. And I'd smoke a bowl with you anytime.
Can I make a shout out to Yakov Smirnov?
Yes.
And Alex Jones?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, do it. Shout out.
No, that was it. Is that not it?
That was your shout out?
Alex Jones.
don't say it 3 times.
Alex Jones.
No, stop it. You'll bring him here.
Cheese sticks.
Alex
Cheese
Jones.
Cheese sticks.
Oh, Obama, you devil. I am coming for you. Man, that episode was dope. You know what else would be dope? If you guys told us your paranormal stories. I know some of you have seen ghosts, some of you have seen fucking UFOs, Some of you have seen Bigfoot. If you write into us, we have an email. It is weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. We really want to read you guys' emails. If you want to just give us a shout out, you can give us a shout out. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to record a voice message, I want to start putting voice shout outs at the beginning of every episode now. So if you send us those, that would be fucking dope. We have the Google Voice number. If you'd rather call up and leave us a voicemail, you can tell us your story that way. Send us some positivity, man. Keep the positivity coming. It's the number for that is 919-346-3071. That's 919-346-3071. We also have a Facebook group, the Weird Shit Podcast official Facebook group. We're on there all the time. We're posting memes. We want to talk to you guys. Fucking tweet at us. Fucking Facebook us. Fucking email us, man, because we love to hear from you and we want to keep doing this forever.